Okay, so let's talk. Excuse the stuffy nose and the eyes and all that gross stuff. I've been crying. Not to have a bait video, whatever they're called. But I feel that some things that have happened in my life and that are going on right now need to be shared if it could possibly help anyone. So excuse the lighting. My daughter's TV show's on. I don't want it to be too quiet because she'll wake up. So a few months ago, actually I did it about a year ago, I put in a family chat just asking everyone to come forward and basically just talk about, anything that they've done to someone in the family or anything that has happened to someone in the family by someone else in the family. Molestation, rape, that type of stuff. So no one really came forward. No one really responded to it. So I left it alone. So this year I've been doing prayers every day. So one of the prayers was that, to heal, asking God for healing from trauma incidents and things of that nature. And I put it in a family chat again, a different family chat, so that, discussions can take place, forgiveness can be asked for, forgiveness can start, healing can start. So I asked family members about all this, and a few people responded, a few people were upset and responded, but however it goes, we wanted to make sure that that everyone was still in a safe space. So it kind of got blown up because people weren't confessing and giving apologies to those that, say they were wronged by. But it wasn't to point fingers at and place blame and say, oh, you did this to me. It was really just so healing can start. And so whoever can, feel some type of closure and get an apology if possible. Excuse me. So that didn't really work out as I had planned or intended it to, but it was still out there in the open and people were discussing it and things were getting talked about, which is a step towards something. It's not brushed under the rug. It's not being kept quiet anymore. People are actually discussing, things that have happened to them or things that they've done. So one of mine was with my cousin. I am the type that I freeze up when something happens. So if we ever get robbed or something like that, you don't want to be with me because, I probably shouldn't be saying that on here because someone might look for me and be like, oh, she freezes. Let me get her. But nevertheless, I know God has my back. But I freeze when I get scared, when I get nervous, when I feel like I'm being addressed inappropriately, I freeze. Excuse me. Now sometimes I'll get to that in a minute, sorry. So I, for a long time, since a young age, my younger cousin would come in my bed and, fiddle around as you will. And I just pretended to be asleep. I didn't want to address him and then have the awkwardness of him knowing I knew what happened, and I didn't want to tell on him. I didn't want to talk about it at all. And so I just pretended I was asleep and like nothing happened. And I had been molested before by an older cousin. I told my sister about that one, and my sister told my mom, and my mom pressed charges. But this one, he was younger. My mom had caught him one time when we were very, very young. I think I was probably like 9 or something, 9, 10. Excuse me. And so he got in big trouble by his mom, and my mom talked to us and everything, and I was just like, okay, well, they found out, so don't have to worry about that again. It bothered me that they thought I probably had something to do with it, but at that age, I was just like, I don't care. Like, it's found out, so I don't have to deal with it no more. But that was not the case. Some years after that, he started it again. When I had to stay with my aunt, well, I didn't have to, but she asked me for help. She had just had twins, so I had a daughter at that time, a younger daughter. She was probably like 4 or 5. She wasn't in school, so no, she was probably like 4. Excuse me. So I went to their house to help, and he started again. And so I was a teenager at this time, and again I froze. I didn't say anything. I pretended I was asleep, and as long as I was asleep, I don't have to address anything. I don't have to tell anyone. I don't have to do anything. Just pretend I'm asleep. So, and there was a few times where my daughter, woke up and saw him next to me, or she recalls the time that he asked her if she wanted to sleep in the bed or something like that, and she told him, well, you just want to lay next to my mom or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, my baby knows. But I was still like, I'm just going to pretend I'm asleep, and I pray, since he knows, she knows, that he'll leave or he'll stop. That wasn't the case either. And I would sleep with her right next to me, in hopes that, I guess I kind of used her as my shield. Real stupid now that I think about it, because who knows how much trauma it's had on her, how much damage it has done to her by me not standing up for myself, not speaking out against what was going on. Excuse me. So that happened for some years, and then another time I spent the night at their house, and I wasn't helping out then, but his stepdad had walked in the room, and I was laying there pretending I was asleep still, but he saw what was going on. And by this time we were older, so they assumed it was like a mutual thing and all this other stuff. And I still defended him. That was my cousin. That was, sorry to say, one of my favorite cousins. Even though all that had happened, he was still very loved cousin by me, my sister. Like, we all just loved him. But so my grandmother was in the hospital during this time, and so we had talked to her, and I told her, yeah, I've been knowing what was going on. I know. I just pretended I was asleep because I didn't want to address it. I didn't want to face it. So she knew, and I told her that right in front of my cousin. So he knew, like, yeah, I've been known. I just pretend like I'm asleep because I don't want to deal with it. And I don't know, maybe he took it as that was a mutual thing because I knew. But again, it was not mutual. It was not mutual. But I'm not here to defend myself. It is what it is. So the situation was brought up again today, by my daughter and I guess him, my cousin. We had kind of got into it in the chat about God, which is ridiculous. Like, you shouldn't even be arguing about God. If they don't accept God, then, teach his own. And that's what I try to leave it as, but that didn't work. So I shouldn't have even said anything in the first place. That was my fault for picking a battle that was not mine to fight. God doesn't need me to defend him. Excuse me. So after that happened, then this morning, my daughter's like, when are you going to tell the truth about what really happened between you and Kevin? I'm like, what? What's going on? What? So I guess come to find out, he's saying, no, it was mutual. And, I was full aware and I assisted. I, asked him to get me something to drink one time, and he came back in the room and my pants were off and stuff like this. And I'm like, wow. And I had to search myself. Like, I prayed and I cried, like, God, did I have any part in this? And maybe just block it. Like, did I have any part in this? Because I don't want him taking all the blame for it if I did have any part in it. And God revealed a couple things to me to let me know, like, no, that it wasn't you. And I can't even remember what he revealed to me because in this season, I'm being tested and lessons are being learned. So I get the lesson in this, but so I'm not supposed to defend myself. So that's why they're asking me to explain, and my husband's asking me to explain. And I'm like, dude, I already told you what happened. I haven't lied to you about anything. Excuse me. That makes me look bad. Like, even though it made me look bad, I still told you the truth about my past or certain things that have happened. Why would I lie about this? Why would I bring it up in our family chat and ask everyone to come forward and confess it so we can forgive each other and, healing? Why would I do any of that if I was trying to hide something? It just doesn't make sense to me, but who knows? I guess it makes sense to someone else. But anyway, so that hurt me, finding out that my husband would rather believe my daughter, our daughter, and whoever she just spoke to, that walked in on what was happening. He actually said I was on top of my cousin, which, and this is not against anyone. I know people have had, I'm not condemning anyone. I'm not, trying to convict anyone. I'm just speaking from my experience, what has happened, and in hopes that it might help someone else. Excuse me. But so he said I was on top of my cousin, which was not true, and I'm still trying to figure out, like, how did that get misconstrued? How did he? I know what he saw because I remember I was laying on the floor pretending I was asleep. So I'm trying to figure out how he. Not my battle. I have to keep telling myself, not your battle, Sharice, not your battle. So anyway, it is what it is. That's what he saw. So that's what it was. But it hurt. And it still hurts to know that what I told my husband now, since people are telling him otherwise, that he is questioning me. And he's saying he just wants to talk and all this other stuff and get to the bottom of it and get clarification and stuff. And I'm like, you don't just want to talk, you want to question me about what they're telling you. And since that's the case, we don't have anything to talk about. I'm not explaining a traumatic experience that happened in my life that I'm still healing from and trying to get over. That has caused me so much shame and pain and torture for years. Like, I never said anything. I just recently said, hey, what happened between my cousin and I, that was not mutual. And I had to explain, I pretended I was asleep. I just, I didn't want to face it. And, I guess some people believe me, some people didn't, but I never said anything about it because I didn't think anyone was going to believe me anyway. Because I have done things in my past to where people could kind of question me. I have done some horrible things to my sister, to friends, that I should never have done. And, I'll probably make a video about that sometime in the future. But it would give people every reason to, doubt what I'm saying. But, I confessed to all that stuff. So I just don't see what the point of lying now. I don't see what point that would be. But, excuse me. It is almost Christmas Eve, and my husband and youngest or middle daughter is with my oldest daughter, and I'm home with the baby and my son, and it's 11 o'clock at night, and I've been crying, I've been screaming, because this hurts. It really, really hurts. Like, I didn't care what anyone else would think about what happened, because I know. But the fact that my own husband doesn't believe me and is gone and has been gone for hours with my daughter, my own daughter, my own flesh and blood, who I had at 13 and had to fight to keep because people wanted me to give her up for adoption because I was a child. I got pregnant at 12 and had her at 13. So I had to fight to keep her. But yeah, it's just amazing to me. So what I'm learning in this season is, for one, I have a real bad issue with needing to be right. Like, I just have to be right. But that's a heart posture. So God is working on that in me. So that is why I am not to defend myself here, because it would be more so I can say, I'm right, you're wrong. And also to not care what people think. Because I say I don't, and for the most part I don't, but then I do. On certain things, especially when it comes to my family, I do care. I don't want to be looked at a certain way because I am giving and I have a big heart and stuff. So it really bothered me, the fact that, my daughter is saying she saw this, and I'm like, dude, you were like 4 years old, and I'm not saying you don't have a good memory or, but I mean, are you sure? Like, not are you sure? I know she's not sure because I know what she's saying she saw. It didn't happen. But I'm just like, man, I'm your mom, but it is what it is. But learning this season, you don't always have to be right. So I'm not to defend myself, and not to care what people think, which, don't defend yourself because you shouldn't care what people think anyway. So that is what I'm learning, and it's tough. It's hard. It's really hard. Again, especially coming from my husband. Anyone else, I'd be like, think what you want. Like, even my daughter, I love you to death, but you're a grown woman with your own baby. You want to run my name through the dirt and say I'm a liar and I'm sick and I'm delusional and in denial, that's fine. I'm still your mom. So I did block her because you're not going to disrespect me like that. Excuse me. Especially when I'm trying to explain to you what happened, but you just have it in your head. No, I saw this, and what he's saying matched up. Okay, well, there's nothing I can really explain or tell you if you're not really wanting to hear me out anyway, because you have it in your head that this is what happened. So I guess that's what happened, I guess that's what happened. Excuse me. But my husband, like I said, I've told him and everyone else the truth about a lot of stuff I've done. That's just, Therese, what were you thinking? Again, I'll get into that sometime later, but in a different video. But it hurts. It hurts to know that my own husband doesn't even believe me. Again, he makes excuses. Oh, I just want to get to the bottom of it and talk and all this other stuff. And that's not what it is. That's not what you're wanting to see. You're wanting to question me about what they're saying so that you can, I guess, try to find a lie in it or something. But I'm not lying. So, again, I'm not re-explaining myself to him because it wouldn't matter, because you already have it in your head that I was lying. That's why you want me to talk about it again with you. But Satan is not going to bring my past up. He knows that it's a very touchy topic for me, especially because I always felt ashamed that I didn't say anything and that I freeze up and I don't speak on stuff. And thinking, maybe I did have something to do with it because I didn't speak up. But regardless, and even if I did, which I didn't, but even if I did, what does God say about me? God still loves me. God still sees me as his daughter. God still sees me cleansed and washed in his blood. So either way, I'm covered. But, it still hurts to know that that's how I'm looked at, and all the stuff that I do for people and love on them and stuff. Like, it's, oh no, you're a liar, and this is this and this is that, which will teach you to don't trust man. Do not trust man. I don't care if it's your husband, your wife, your daughter, son, mother, dad. And I'm not saying this to, oh no, I can't trust you. But don't place these high expectations on people that are going to let you down. They're going to fail you. Sometimes it's unintentional. I know I've let people down plenty of times. Sometimes intentional, sometimes unintentional. But that's why you don't trust man, you trust your father. So he is teaching me right now also that, yes, that's your husband and that's your daughter and this is your family and you love them and they say they love you, but this is the stuff that still happens. So you depend only on me. You trust only in me. And I do. Like I said, I'm learning a lot of lessons this season, this year, 2021. It's almost 2022. My new word for the new year is legacy. So gonna see what that pans out to be about. But again, I just wanted to share this with whoever, hoping that it would reach someone, touch someone. Maybe you've gone through this situation, maybe you've gone through a similar situation, but I just wanted to let you know that you're not alone. I know I'm not alone. I even have a friend that I told her, hey, I had to search myself and ask God to search me to see if I did have any part in this. And she was just like, but why? What does that do for you? Even if you did consent after he, initiated the first, time of, molesting you or raping you or whatever. Even if you did consent, there is a syndrome that abuse victims that go through, to where, and maybe that's why I freeze and pause still to this day when I feel uncomfortable or I feel someone touch me inappropriately, and I'm just like, and sometimes it's in my head, and sometimes I think, I'm right. Again, sometimes I still don't even say anything because I'm like, well, maybe I'm just tripping. I need to learn to speak up for myself. That's what I admire so much about my sister. She's loud as all outdoors. And when he tried to go in her room one time, she said, get out of my room, so-and-so. And after I heard her do that, it gave me a boost of confidence. And when he started to try and come back in my room, I'd be like, get out of my room, go sleep in the living room or something. So that's big up to my sister for her confidence and her strength and making sure, like, hey, no, I don't play that. So she gave me a little bit of confidence there, but after everything had already happened. But yeah, if anyone relates to this, I hope it helps. And just know that God still loves you, no matter what you've gone through, no matter what part you may have played in it. I'm not putting this out there to say, oh, I'm innocent. Whether I'm innocent or not, God still loves me. God is still protecting me. God is still there for me. God still sees me as his beautiful, loving daughter. So have to keep telling myself, don't worry about it, because how does God see you? Don't worry about how they're viewing you, because how does God view you? That's the one that matters. But again, I hope this helps someone, anyone. Again, sorry for the lighting and the in and out darkness and light. Next time it will be better, I promise, because I'll have my light or whatever on. And some makeup too, because I look a little bit crazy. And yeah, just washed my hair and stuff. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I did take my scarf off before I did this video, because you guys weren't about to see me looking that crazy. It was too much. So, but yeah, I hope this helps someone. Just know you're gonna get through it. Like I said, it's hard. I am dying on the inside. I'm hurt. I am so hurt. Scream, crying. I even like, dude, we're getting divorced. Like, you just really like just showed me how much you think of me, how little you think of me. That's what you showed me. And I still have to pray on that, because my heart still says, yeah, I want a divorce. Just for doubting me like that and making me feel like I have to defend myself with you. Especially, you know, not even going to go into all that. It doesn't matter what I've done for him or anyone else. Just, it hurts that I have to defend myself with you, the one I am in a covenant with before God, with God. So, but again, though you slay me, my God is still, he's my God. And I don't sway or put anything above him, because he comes first. And that's how I'm getting through this, is that because I'm still trying to keep him first, even though I'm going crazy and screaming and saying I want a divorce, even though I have no grounds for a divorce. I have no grounds for a divorce right now. So it's not a very good thing to say, but I'm just trying to be transparent, let you guys know how I'm feeling, what I've said, what I'm going through. Still haven't taken the divorce off the table yet, just because my heart isn't there yet. My mind isn't there yet. Like my head hurts. I've been crying and screaming so much, and I'm rambling right now. But I just wanted to make it known. Try to get it out there. Don't hold your tongue. And again, if you had any part, like, it's, God still loves you. God still loves you, regardless. God still loves you. You were still his child. But what I was saying about the, whatever syndrome it's called, I'll have to do some research on it or something. But, where if a woman was abused, and it could be for a male too, I'm not sure. But if they were abused, it kind of, you know, that's why you see so many women that are promiscuous after they've been sexually abused, is because it kind of teaches them at a young age that, you know, when a male wants this or wants that from you, then you just kind of lay there and take it and accept it, because that's what it is. So that's what my friend had told me, because I told her I felt ashamed and guilty for just pretending like I was asleep all those times and just not addressing it. And she had to let me know, like, that's not your fault. That is a thing. Like, you know, she said she did that too when she was sexually assaulted by someone in her family, which gave me so much relief. Like, oh God, like, it's not just me. I'm not, you know, it's not just me that, you know, because I'm thinking, what's wrong with you? Why don't you speak up? Why don't you say something? Why don't you move aggressively or something so he knows not to touch you or something? And no, I'm asleep. I don't know what's going on. I'm asleep. And that's not the only time that's happened where I pretended I'm asleep so I don't have to address the situation. Now, there has been times where I played sleep and I've allowed it. But of course, I don't go calling out rape or whatever on those. And even should I wake up anyway, it's more like a, oh my God, what are you doing? Okay. Such a weird turn. That was like a far left turn on that one. But anyway, again, just being transparent. But yes, there's been other times where I pretend like I'm asleep so I don't have to deal with what was going on, and I have to deal with the reality of my life at that point in time. But yes, so that's really all I have to say about that. If you have any questions or anything, again, I'm really open. I believe God made me this open and transparent for a reason. Maybe it'll help someone, I don't know. But yeah, that's all I have to say right now. Unless you guys have some questions, then I'll pop back up with another video to answer those questions, and we'll get into some other stuff about my life, and maybe if it relates to someone else, it'll help someone else. So again, thank you for watching. YouTube, it's Reese. I'm out.